Okay, so lately you can't scroll for 5 minutes without running into an ad for Temu, right? Like crazy cheap clothes, electronics, everything.
Yeah, it's really kind of wild how fast they've blown up. Like 1 minute they're just another app, the next, boom, Super Bowl commercials.
And it's not like there's some tiny startup either. They've got some real weight behind them, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Temu is actually a spin-off of Pinduoduo.
Pinduoduo.
Yeah, they're huge GE in China. So like Amazon level big, but for China, they're all about that group buying model and keeping things super affordable. So basically, Temu's coming in with serious cash and know-how.
So that explains how they've managed to kind of take over so fast. But, I mean, what are they offering that's so different? Like, we've already got Shane, AliExpress. Yeah. What makes Temu stand out?
Well, they're hitting all the marks, right? Huge range of stuff, dirt cheap. Plus, they've got that super generous return policy. I mean, that's a big deal for online shoppers. But the real kicker, fast shipping. They're going right for Amazon's jugular on that one.
It's like they looked at what everyone else was doing and thought, hold my algorithm, we can do it all and cheaper. Speaking of cheaper, $5 t-shirts. Come on, there's got to be a catch.
Well, yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something we're going to dig into today. Those prices might be tempting, but it's important to kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes to make those prices possible.
All right, then, let's pull back the curtain and see how it all works. We've got a lot to unpack here, like what's the deal with those prices and honestly, what are the ethical implications of a company like this blowing up like this?
Yeah, those ethical concerns are super important to think about. Today, we'll be diving into things like the impact on workers. What about the environmental effects of all this cheap fashion? It's a lot, and it's really important for the future of online shopping as a whole.
Okay, so we know Temu's shaking things up, but
Yeah.
come on, is it really that good?
Yeah,
Let's talk about these deals because, well, there are always terms and conditions.
right. Like, take that 90-day return policy. Sounds amazing, right?
Yeah.
Except there's a catch.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Well, you got to spend at least $10 if you want free returns. Pretty smart, actually. It encourages people to spend more and makes it less appealing to return those, like, super cheap items.
Whoa, it's like they're playing 4D chess with our bank accounts or something. And then there's that whole late delivery credit. $5 if your order doesn't arrive on time. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know. Like, on the one hand, they're acknowledging that, hey, maybe getting your stuff on time could be an issue, right? Like, maybe there's some logistical things they're still figuring out. But then they're spinning it into this whole, hey, here's a perk, which, let's be real, you're probably just going to use to buy more stuff from Temu anyway, right?
So true. See, this is what I mean. It's so easy to get caught up in the whole deal thing. But when prices are this low, you got to wonder about the labor practices. How can they even offer these prices without, like, someone somewhere getting squeezed?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? The reality is fast fashion, and Temu is a part of that, right? It has a pretty complicated history when it comes to workers' rights. I mean, remember that Rana Plaza disaster back in 2013? 1,000 garment workers gone because of unsafe conditions in a factory that was making clothes for, Western brands.
It's terrifying to think about.
Right. And while, look, there's nothing to say Temu's directly involved in anything like that, it's hard to say for sure because they're not exactly an open book. There's just not a lot of transparency with Temu, which makes it tough to know how their whole supply chain works.
So no smoking gun, but the potential is there, for sure. So what could they do? What are some steps Temu could take to be more upfront about all of this and address these concerns?
Well, transparency is a good place to start. Like, they could publicly share which factories they're working with, allow for independent audits of those places, things like that. And of course, making sure workers are getting paid fairly and working in safe conditions. That's just like non-negotiable. Honestly, as consumers, we have a right to know that what we're buying isn't coming at the expense of someone else.
100%. And it's not just about the workers, right? There's the whole environmental impact of fast fashion, too. All those cheap clothes ending up in landfills.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for disaster. Does Temu even acknowledge this?
Well, they do mention sustainability on their website, but it's all pretty vague. They talk about using recycled packaging, promoting eco-friendly products, that sort of thing. But honestly, with the sheer amount of stuff they're selling and the whole fast fashion model of, buy more, it's hard not to be concerned about the environmental impact.
Right. So maybe some baby steps,
Yeah.
but definitely a long way to go. It's tough because it feels like we're at this crossroads, right? On the one hand, incredible deals, a company shaking things up. On the other hand, some big question marks about labor practices, transparency, the environment. It really is like the dilemma of our time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wallet versus values. And Temu is right there pushing those buttons.
It's like this whole case study in how we shop now. There's this survey, right? Only 7% of shoppers said they totally trust Temu. Right. Crazy low. But here's the thing. That same study found that 68%
No way.
had actually bought something on Temu.
It's that FOMO, isn't it? That fear of missing out.
Hmm.
Those prices are seriously hard to resist.
Totally. And Temu knows it. They are like the kings and queens of digital marketing. Targeted ads, social media, all that to make you feel like you need this stuff right now. But can they turn those impulse buys into loyal customers? Like, that's the question, right? And that's where things get really interesting when you compare them to Amazon.
Well, yeah, because Amazon basically wrote the book on customer loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Prime, next day delivery, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. And Temu, while they've got good customer retention, they're actually beating Target and Walmart on that front, which is crazy. They're still way behind Amazon.
So tons of new customers. That's not a problem for them. But keeping them coming back for more, that's the challenge. What does that say about their future? Can they really make it long term?
I think it shows that, yeah, they've definitely tapped into something. People want cheap, they want easy, and Temu gets that. But that trust factor, that loyalty, the kind Amazon has, they're not there yet. Amazon spent years building that, offering a solid service, investing in all that logistics stuff.
So rock bottom prices aren't enough, huh? It's got to be the whole package. Smooth sailing. You know what I mean? The whole experience has to be good or people will go elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And that is not easy, even with all the resources Temu has. It's a David and Goliath situation, for sure. But then again, think about how fast things change in the e-commerce world. Remember Sears? Blockbuster. Big players can fall, and often it's the ones you don't expect that shake things up.
It's got to be a little unsettling if you're Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So big picture, what are we taking away from all of this?
I think Temu is like a perfect example of how online shopping is changing right now, literally as we speak. They've shown just how much people want low prices and convenience, but at the same time, they bring up all these ethical questions about fast fashion. Will they make it? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, Temu's made us all think about how much we're really paying when we shop online, and not just in dollars and cents.
So true. And on that note, listeners, next time you're about to hit buy on that crazy Temu deal, maybe take a second, just a second to think about the bigger picture. The workers, the planet, all of it. What are you really supporting with that purchase? That's all from us this time. But until next time, happy shopping.